Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Lewis. I'm back.
My name's Lewis Thorogood, sales manager here at Hill & Clark Bourne office. It's 6 p.m, it's the Bourne Property Show live with myself and Mike Hollanby, operations manager. A joy to have you back, Mike. By popular demand, Marina was wanting to come back. I won't lie, the viewers are saying they want her back, but I've drafted you in.
So I can't even say back by popular demand.
No, you can't, I'm afraid. You can't.
No.
You can't.
Well, there we go. So yes, welcome on board everybody to the Bourne Property Show. Now we can drop that bit in now, you see.
That's it, now we can start. Okay, just really a bit of a recap. Obviously, I know we had a couple of broadcasts last week, last Thursday, when I did a bit of a kind of generic overview of the kind of latest stories going on in the housing market nationally. We talked about the council tax increases. We talked about, obviously, again, a big thing about the government housing shortage that's trying to be resolved. And I talked about remortgage as well. Then we had that special episode on Saturday with Marina, the lettings manager. Fantastic response from that. Over 1,300 people viewing that, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's been a really good week.
It has.
You know, we've just about got to the point where there's many episodes of this as there is EastEnders each week.
There is.
But we are here by popular demand. So let's crack on with this week's show.
So, Lewis, we've got another crammed show this evening full of lots and lots of content. But we are going to hit tonight with quite fast and furious. We're going to narrow this show down a little bit for you. But also we are going to give you the 5 killer questions you need to be asking your estate agent if you are thinking of selling. So what I want you to do tonight is go and get a pad, a piece of paper, a pen, something to write down, because whether you're watching this tonight or whether you're watching this in the rebroadcast over the next few weeks, we are going to give you 5 crucial questions that you need to be asking your estate agent when they're sat in your lounge. When you're looking at choosing an agent, the 5 killer questions that you need to be asking them to make sure that you get the best possible price for your home. The ultimate aim of all of this is to get you sold and to give you the best possible price in that move. So what else have we got on tonight's show in the meantime as well? Yeah,
as well as that, we've got our Why I Love Bourne features, which this week will be Kay from Tan 360 and Bethan from Cafe 35 as well. We'll look at, obviously, next week. We'll also look at, obviously, everybody joining us tonight on the show. Already good evening to Craig, Nicola, Marina. They join us already. We want you to comment. We want you to be involved. I've just put something in here. Go and get that bit of pen and paper. We're giving you a 30-second warning because I think you're going to come in and start throwing lots of questions at me and test me to see if I know my stuff after 15 years. So we're going to go quick fire shortly and get into the main topic of tonight. But send your comments in. Say hello. Join in. We want as many people as possible watching tonight. And the more comments, the better. They'll all be read out, and more importantly, any questions, fire them at us. We should know the answers.
We should know the answers because we know what we're doing.
We do.
I'll tell you what's interesting as well is when you were just talking there, what you can't see behind the camera on here is we've got the big glass panels on the windows. The amount of people walking past now this evening just giving us a big wave as well when they're walking past. So again, to everybody who's outside the windows, hello.
Yeah. Good evening to Joe who joins us. Good evening, Joe. Any questions? Anything anybody's got? Keep sending those comments in.
Fantastic. So as I say, we're going to get straight into it this week. And as I mentioned earlier, the 5 killer questions. Now, the reason why we've done this is ultimately, if you're looking at selling your property and you have a selection of agents around, it's always difficult to know which agents you want to choose. It might be by recommendation, you might have seen for sale or sold boards, you might have seen adverts in the paper, social media posts. Lots of different reasons and whys you might have invited that agent into your home. You'll often then get a sales pitch, a presentation. We go around, we measure up, we talk about obviously what we can do as a service, and you've then got to make a decision on which estate agents to use. And a lot of that will come down to the relationship and the rapport that you have with the estate agent who comes around your home. One of the things that we really want you to start looking at is making sure that you're questioning that agent in regards to how are they going to achieve the best possible price in the shortest possible time. Yep. Ultimately, when we talk to vendors, that's what they want. They want to achieve the best possible price in the shortest possible time, but they want a service for that. And one of the things that we're noticing between online agent and high street agents, which you know my feelings of. I don't think there is anything as an online agent and a high street agent. We're all online. It's either a no service agent or a high street agent. So one of the things we want to talk about is about service with you tonight, and how is that agent going to get you sold, but also how clued up are they in regard to their business? How much do they know about their business? Okay, so Lewis, I'm going to pretend you're an agent.
I am one. I don't have to pretend. I actually am an agent.
Okay, well done. Well, I'm going to pretend you're an agent in my property. We'll finish that one off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch these 5 killer questions to you.
Okay.
And these are the questions we are going to recommend that you make a note of this evening. So the next time you've got an agent round, this is what you want to be firing off at. Okay.
Very quickly, Mike. First question, which may well link quite nicely. Nicola says, and this is one for you to come back to. Why should I use a high street agent rather than an online agent? They've put such as Purple Bricks.
Yeah.
There are other online agents as well. That's not obviously specific to them, but that hope will be something we can discuss.
No, let's do it now.
Let's do it. Let's crack on. Let's do it. Let's go.
So this is Nicola, is it?
Yeah, Nicola said, why should I use a high street agent rather than an online agent, such as an agent like Purple Bricks?
Depends on what you want. At the end of the day, if you want to use an online agent, fantastic. You get what you pay for. If you want your property marketed, go back 2-3 years ago, well, longer than that now, 4 years ago. If you, as a private home seller, wanted to market your property on Rightmove, you couldn't do it. If you still wanted to do it as a private homeowner now, you can't do it. So the only way to get that property onto a property platform like Rightmove or On the Market or Zoopla is to use an agent. Now that used to be a high street agent. Purple Bricks came along, booked the trend of that, and offered a service where they would market your property at a very discounted fee. That started off at $695, went up to $850. Now on average works out about £1,100 when you're putting all your viewing package in. Now if you just want your property marketed by a local agent where they'll come around, value the property, take the photographs, etc. and get it online for you, that's what you're paying for. Nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want, great, you're going to save yourself a lot of money. Ask the question though, how close to the asking price are they going to achieve on the sale for you? That's something we're going to talk about in a minute. So as I say, there is room for everybody in this marketplace. Okay. One of the things we are going to talk about though is the difference between an online agent and a high street agent with a couple of the questions we're going to ask you. But at the end of the day, why should you? My advice is, if you want to get the best price and get a local agent who knows, that can give you the best advice, can guide you through that sale. Let's be honest, the marketing of the property is the easy bit. The bit to get it through to completion is the bit you pay for with a service. In regard to chasing viewings, getting feedback, getting solicitors instructed, getting that feedback, all the things we talked about with Elaine 2 weeks ago now, in regard when we had her in the office about the conveyancing process. You will be doing all of that. If you're prepared to do it, fantastic. But if you want to get the best price and to have a better chance of your sale going through, you need high street agents or a local agent, in my view.
Well, as Joe's just commented, online agents appear to only be able to do viewings in an evening. So as a buyer, this really puts me off. And she's put here a little point: if a buyer cannot speak to a real person, in my opinion, high street agents are much better. So the first thing that's been touched on there, Joe, and really appreciate your comments tonight, it's all about, and I don't care what people say, we're in 2018, when you're dealing with the biggest asset you are going to buy or sell, you want to be talking to someone face to face, you want to be speaking to somebody on the phone, you want to be able to come in and see them, they want to come to you anytime you need them. And with respect to many online agents, they cannot and will not offer that facility.
No. In a nutshell? Okay, fantastic. So, again, keep firing those questions in. Happy to answer these all night long. But let's crack on to start off with. So, Lewis, we'll go back. I'm going to pretend you're in my property now. You're sitting in, you've done all your presentation. I'm sat down on the sofa. You've asked me to make your cup of tea. Here we go. So, Lewis, how quickly can you get my property to the marketplace once I say, yes, I want to go on the market with you?
Okay, well, I think that depends from the perspective yourself of the vendor, what you're looking to do. Let's just take this back just a little bit.
Yeah.
So the first question I want to ask you as the vendor is gain an idea of your kind of motivation, what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
And there's two questions that this can go down. Are you looking for the best possible price?
Yeah.
Or are you looking at speed of sale?
Okay.
And I think that comes very much down to your motivation.
Yeah.
So I think in the main, and I think this is not unfair to say this, I'd probably say 95% of the population that are looking to sell their home will want the best possible price.
Yes.
It's rare circumstances, for example, job relocation, for example, or something like that, where speed of transaction is key.
Okay.
So we're going to go on the basis, if we may, that you want to achieve the best price for your home.
Yeah.
So I can do two routes for you. I can go round, as with respect many could, we can go around as quick as you want. I can do everything online. I've got iPad, I'm going around, we've got latest technology, which is very unique to ourselves here at Hill & Clark. I can go around, I can do all your measurements, I can do all your details, I can do your photos, I can get everything signed, sealed and done there and then, and I can get your home, your details approved with you, sat next to you now, get it on the internet straight away, so we can have it online in an hour and a half, as quick as that. So if you want to get your property on the market quick, I'll do it that quick for you.
Okay. So again, this is another point. Go back, if you sold a property over the years before, it would have taken 3-4 days maybe to go away, get those literature done, download the photographs, get the brochure sent out to you to approve all the literature. You might want to put a couple of amendments in there. You're 4 or 5 days maybe before your house has even gone on. As a vendor, when you say yes, I want to come to market, you want things to start happening. That's the technology in the world we live in now. Everybody wants more time. They want things done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Or yesterday, rather. Okay. So you mentioned to me there's 2 ways. That's the first way, traditional agency, but you can get me online, marketed as you walk out the door on Rightmove.
Yeah.
You said there's another option.
There is. There's the premium package.
Okay.
And I think in this day and age, especially when we talk about getting you the best possible price for your home, and that's key.
Yeah.
And we'll touch on other questions that you're going to discuss in a moment. But the premium package is where we look to, and I'm going to encourage this.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to help you get the best price for your home by making it look the best it can be, and by ensuring that we, as an estate agent, can get you the best price, the right type of buyer that can proceed through to a successful exchange completion.
Yeah.
So I can come and get a professional photographer around
Yeah.
as a part of our marketing package to do a full suite of professional photos.
Okay.
I can get them to come and do a full video tour of the home, which is amazing, and hopefully we're going to be able to put a couple of links on. We're going to put some links on so you can have a look at those yourselves, and they are a full virtual tour through the home that's done with the latest technology, which really brings it to life and really feels like a previewing. So when those buyers are inquiring and they're coming and ringing up, or they're coming in, or they're inquiring off the websites, they've almost previewed your home.
So you're getting a better quality.
You're getting a better quality across the board, and I think that is the key to get the best price for your home. In my view, 3-4 years ago, you can put it on the market as quick as you want to get it on the market, and we still can. But in this day and age, it's about differentiating your home from others in the marketplace.
Fantastic, great answer, thank you very much. So let's go on to the second question. Lewis, I would like to know what percentage of your stock you have currently is sold. So how quickly you sell? No, not how quickly, but what percentage of your stock is sold?
Okay. As it stands at the minute, 33% of our stock is sold.
Okay.
Okay. And we are, and it kind of dovetails quite into a question which I hope you're going to look to ask from me shortly. But 33% of our stock is currently sold. And in terms of what we're achieving price-wise, and in terms of time, in fact, we'll go into that now if we can. We'll link into that. And I know these are part of those killer questions. 33% of our stock is currently sold. Okay. We are averaging sales in 77 days. And I know one of the killer questions is, what is your average time to sell? So we are averaging house sales in 77 days, which is booking the national trend, and indeed it's one of the leading trends in Bourne itself.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that's an average.
That's
so
an
some
average.
properties are selling quicker.
Very much so.
They'll take a little bit longer.
Indeed.
Okay. Fantastic. So you mentioned there obviously about time scale as well. Okay. So that's one of the questions you want to be asking with your agent is, how long can I expect it to be on the market? How long is it going to be before you actually sell? Get a buyer through the front door for me. Next question is what is the average selling price against the advertised for sale price that you're achieving? Okay. So what percentage of your asking price are you getting them sold at?
So we're coming back to the original question about speed of sale or getting you the best possible price for your home. We are averaging so far this year 97%. So 97% of the asking price is being achieved on the property.
Okay. I think this is one of the most crucial questions that you need to be asking any estate agent. Based on your success, are you marketing properties? Are you selling them? But are you getting the best price? Any competent agent should be able to answer that question straight off. If they can't answer that question, how are you going to know how successful they are at getting you the best possible price? Lewis, you've got a couple of examples of properties which you've recently sold.
Indeed.
You just give a bit of an idea of where these are, etc., just so we can show a little bit of substantiation to what we're saying.
I had an assistant on Saturday for this, but now you've come in.
Glamorous assistant.
I'm having to do everything myself now. So we'll use an example here. This is a property. We'll get that on the camera there so we can see it properly. This is a property that's achieved 97% of the asking price. This is a 3-bedroom townhouse in Elsia Park in Bourne. Just put that up there so the camera can see it a bit better. We actually sold this property within 2 weeks of it coming to the marketplace.
Okay.
A very popular property. We had 6 viewings in the first week, and we got 97% of the asking price on this property.
Great, lovely.
And we'll use a second example again, because we're looking to kind of show a kind of range. Again, this property here, Elsia Park Way, a 3-bedroom detached home. I'd probably say that with respect, it's one of the kind of standard homes that you'd look to sell to families and people going up the ladder. Again, this achieved 97%. This property sold in 9 days. 9 days of it coming to the marketplace.
Okay.
Again, 97% of the asking price achieved on that.
So let's look at the other seesaw of that. There will be other properties that are out there that are taking considerably longer, maybe than the 77 days. Traditionally, is that sort of more the properties that are 300,000 to 400,000 plus bracket? Do they take a little bit longer to sell? But what sort of tipping of the balance? You've given 2 examples there of good properties that are selling quickly.
Yep.
What potentially is at the other end, which might be taking a little bit longer?
Yeah, I think the marketplace as we see it at the moment, and let's use the snapshot of January and February so far. Let's use that. I think if we work through the different kind of layers, first time buyer properties going up to the kind of 160, 165 range in Bourne are selling quick.
Yeah.
They're selling quick, but they need to be selling for the best price, and that's really important. Bungalow market in Bourne, there's always a lack of bungalows.
Yeah.
We were just talking about one we sold today in Westbourne Park.
Yeah.
Again, we've achieved 97% on that as well. The bungalow market's very strong, very buoyant, but again, it is about getting the best price on these properties, because we know they'll sell. So let's make sure we can get the best price for the vendor, because that's what the market's commanding. Definitely when you go up the ladder into the kind of 350 to 450, even £500,000 territory, obviously we're going into a higher price banding where there are less buyers. That's the reality. We're seeing a lot of buyers moving up from the Peterborough area. We're seeing a lot of buyers moving across from the Stamford area, because you get more for your money in Bourne. The schooling is absolutely excellent here in the town, and the infrastructure is growing. Obviously, there's some big places opening. Marks and Spencer's opening next week. There's a lot of infrastructure going on in the town. So the higher end individual bespoke property can theoretically take a bit longer to sell.
Okay.
But I'm going to go back to what we said from the start. We've just agreed sales on 2 individual homes in Thirlby and in a very high profile location of Bourne, both at £500,000.
Right.
And actually what we did was we took a step back and we slowed the process down, not for weeks, I'm only talking an extra 48 hours, but we made sure that when we launched those homes to the market, we had that professional suite of photos, the video tours, the descriptive element, engaged people and got people drawn to the property.
Fantastic.
And that's why we've been able to sell £500,000 bespoke individual homes, which in the past, before we started here, were probably staying on the market a little bit longer than they should have.
Fantastic, great answer. Thank you very much. Okay, last question really for you then is, you need to be talking to your agent to say that what is the length of contract I'm going to get tied into? This is something that when you're going through the paperwork, they go, oh, and by the way, it's a 20-week contract and you can only use us within that time scale, otherwise you'll end up paying 2 fees. Sign there. Now that's a really crucial part of the terms of business, in my opinion. And I say it's not something that the agents tend to dwell on, but it is a question that you must ask your agent. What is the sole agency term that once I sign up with you, I need to stay on the market with you? So if you can give me a bit of your thoughts in regard to, first of all, about the length of contracts and your thoughts on that very, very quickly for me, and then I'm going to bring that on to, and then what happens at the end of that.
Okay. The national average for what we class as a sole agency term is 12 weeks. Okay. That's the average that you would expect. But you're quite right in what you say, Mike. With respect, I think a lot of people, when they're putting their home to the market, can sometimes entrust in the agent and they don't ask those questions. And then what you find is that actually, if things aren't going to plan, if things are not going the way you wanted, and that can be from the presentation and the marketing of the property from the outset, things may be prolonged when they don't need to be. Maybe the service standards aren't as good. Maybe the feedback isn't there, or the communication.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they check their paperwork and they're on a 24-week sole agency.
Yeah.
Now 24 weeks actually doesn't sound that bad. Let's convert that. That's 6 months. If you sign a 6-month sole agency today, you will still be on the market potentially in September.
Yeah.
Now, we've only just got rid of the snow and we're trying to go into spring.
Yeah.
You're going to potentially be on the market when the leaves start to drop and we're thinking about Christmas, Halloween and bonfire night and everything else. What you've also got to consider when you're signing agreements, and again, this is something which is not explained, and it really does need to be, and I make sure that I spend the time to go through this, notice periods.
Yes.
So you may well sign a 6-month sole agency or 24 weeks and not realise it, and there is a high probability that you will then have a notice period which could range between 14 to 28 days at the end of that 6-month contract.
Yeah.
So it could actually be a 6.5 to 7 month contract. So it's vitally important that before you sign your paperwork, do read through it, do ask the question, how long am I signing for? And actually, with the marketplace being as it is, do we need to be signing 24-week sole agencies? In a market where we're averaging sales in 77 days, in a market where the feedback is there's not enough homes coming to the market still at the moment. So do not restrict yourself into long sole agency agreements, because if you do, it's quite difficult to get out of them.
Okay. I'm going to touch on something there also that people might not know about, is at the beginning of the contract. Okay. So a lot of people don't know this, but if you then sign a sole agency agreement, it's often going to be in the first 2 weeks whether you find out whether you've made the right decision. You know what it's like when you buy a new car and you drive it off the forecourt, you're being promised this, that and the other. Something's going to go wrong. It's usually within the first week or two. Yeah. Same in the house buying process and selling process. You've signed up your business. You're expecting the ball to go up. You're expecting your brochure to be with you. You're expecting to see it online. You're expecting some activity, maybe a couple of viewings. You're expecting that viewing feedback straight away. You may be expecting a courtesy call back from your agent. Those things don't happen. You're not happy. You're thinking, well, I've signed a 16, 20, 24-week contract. What a lot of people don't know about the 14-day cooling off period. So again, very quickly, if you tell me about what can happen in that first 14 days.
Yeah. Any contract that you sign in your home, and again, we just need to obviously put a little bit of clarification behind this in a moment, and we'll kind of elaborate on this, but any contractual obligation that you sign into in your home, you have a legal 14-day cooling off period set by the trading standards, endorsed by the property ombudsman as well, and that is a legal requirement of a 14-day cooling off period. If you are not satisfied or unhappy with any part of your contractual obligation, or indeed service standards or anything else which has been discussed or promised in that initial 14 days, you have a legal right to cancel and terminate the agreement. Please check any terms of business that you do sign. There should be a section on there to either be able to return a slip or send an email, and also vitally important that you do check, will you be liable to any sort of withdrawal fee? Yeah. So vitally important that you do read the small print as well. Okay. In my opinion, you shouldn't have to be paying any sort of fee during a 14-day cooling off period, but do check your paperwork. Fantastic. Really, really important, that one.
Great bit of advice. So they're the 5 killer questions. What we'll also do is we'll drop in a little bit of editing with this, with all those questions on it as we've gone through this evening. So again, when we rebroadcast this, all those questions will be there for you as well. We'll also put them in one of the feeds that we do through the broadcast with those questions underneath, with those links into a couple of the examples of the professional marketing that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okie dokie. Right.
Hello there, it's Lewis from Hill and Clark in Bourne. I'm with Bethan, who's the owner of Cafe 35 here on North Street. So Bethan, you've lived in Bourne all your life, obviously you're a business owner in the town. So why do you like living and working in Bourne?
I like the customers that I get in my shop, the whole community spirit of the town, lovely place to raise a family with fantastic schools, relatively good facilities in the town, and I wouldn't like to live anywhere else really.
That's great, thank you very much.
So hopefully you found that real interest. We were then going to talk on to a little bit of the Lewis lifestyle, a little bit about you and all that sort of thing. But look, our times are already
There's still
running
2
on with
minutes
it.
to fit that in. I can talk. You know.
Okay, yeah, but I know how you can talk. Okay, what I am going to do then, I'm going to swing it over about, again, an online agent to a high street agent. Yep. We've been talking for weeks and weeks and weeks in the show. It's about you, the community, getting involved in the community, knowing that local knowledge. This guy knows this market inside out. He knows the housing market. He knows his job. He knows his stuff. But also on top of that, he's trying to get this information out to you, your local community. He's involved in the local community. And what we've now started doing on top of that is...
There we go.
The Bourne Property News. Let me get that right in front of your face there. So most of you might have seen these coming through your letterbox.
Yeah, and they're also in the Discovering Bourne magazine, which I think was put through every letterbox in Bourne and the villages. I think there's about 10,000 that were put through your letterbox as a part of the magazine early this month as well.
Fantastic. So the idea behind this, again, also we're going to start putting these in the advert paper. Again, you walk past our office, you can pick one of these up in one of your displays you've got at the front here. We also run the Bourne Property blog. That's straight away over on bournepropertyblog.co.uk. So the idea of this is all this information that we're giving to you, we're now putting this in this form as well, so you can see it on social media. You've got the written word, you've seen it in the advert, you've got it in your marketing magazines, etc. So this again is giving you the information about your local market now also on these newsletters. So again, it's just knowing that local marketplace again.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do. We want to try and help people. We're trying to, I suppose, from my perspective, when I opened up here in July, and I've lived here all my life, I wanted to differentiate ourselves. I wanted to differentiate ourselves from maybe the norm. Yeah. I wanted to differentiate ourselves from probably what people are used to as well. And it's about that slowing down, that knowledge, being able to talk things through, being able to advise. Even had somebody ring me up this afternoon. Lady rang me up this afternoon and asked me a simple question: what price would I need to amend my home? And it's not on the market with us. What price would I need to amend my home for it to trigger on the website? Yeah. Her current agent didn't know the answer to that. Okay. Minimum 2% will get the reduction flagging up on Rightmove in particular and the other websites as well. Yeah. And also they recommended a figure to her that if they were going to amend the price, it wasn't the best recommendation, because you've got to look at things like price bandings to optimise inquiries and what's called click-through rates on the websites. So it's all this knowledge, which she didn't realise, which goes a long way. Okay, and I think the other thing, one of the other key words that we talk a lot about is about relationship. When you are looking to choose an agent, you are going to have potentially a 6-month relationship with that agent. It could be the best 6 months, because you may well sell within those 77 days, and on average, as we've spoken about a couple of weeks ago with SureMove, it's going to take 10 to 12 weeks to go through once you've got that buyer. So you're looking at 6 months there. If it's the other end of the spectrum and it's 6 months of a bad relationship, as in that agent's tied you in and you can't move away from them, that's 6 months of your life you're going to spend with that estate agent. Yeah. So it's really, really important that you choose the right agent, use those questions, and again, form that relationship with your agent. And I think that's one of the things that we're really proud of with you and your team on here, and all of our other offices, be it lettings and sales, commercials, block management. We really, really work hard at making sure that we get the relationship right with you. Okay. Kay, the owner of TAN 360 here at the Burley Centre in Bourne. So Kay, obviously you've been in the town for quite a while, so what do you love about living and working in Bourne?
I absolutely love it. The people are so friendly, my customers are so lovely.
Great, that's fantastic, thank you.
What comments that have come up
It's got a bit crazy on here, to be honest with you, Mike, this evening. Just a quick rundown for everybody that's joined us. Good evening to Jamie, Paul, Bethan, Emma, Rebecca, Sandra, Pauline, Jackie, Kathy, another Paul, Jessica, Joe, Jane, Marina, Nicola. Loads of people watching tonight, which is fantastic. Thank you for your time. Jamie joins us as well, who's a previous client and a current client of ours also. Someone's put, good to see the two of you back.
Yeah, see?
You've got one. You have one fan.
Thanks, Mum.
Yeah, that's Marina, obviously, was with me on Saturday. Apparently, I was her Debbie McGee. Thank you for that, Marina. Yes, I was. But I thought I'd get promoted tonight. Nicola asks, she said two things. I agree, I still like to go into an office and speak to people face to face, which goes back to that kind of relationship element. We've covered that. And also, and maybe this is one for us to probably build on next week, just because we're running out of time this evening. How will I know if my buyer can afford my house?
Ooh, great question.
That is a really good question, because the lady in question, somebody else that I spoke to this afternoon, actually has lost their buyer. They were buying, obviously they're in a chain, they're in a transaction, and they were buying another property themselves, and the comment was made, it was a little bit frustrating, because if I knew they couldn't afford the mortgage in the first place, I wouldn't have gone and started the journey of my transaction. Okay. So I think this is something we probably need to build on. That's a whole section in itself, Nicola, for next week. That is a whole section in itself.
I'll tell you what, I've got 5 more killer questions for next week for you now. That could be one of them. Really, really good point on that. And again, I think that is something that we'll come back to you on. Basically, in a nutshell, it's called offer substantiation. You need to make sure that a qualified mortgage advisor is substantiating the finances of your purchaser. We do it here, and we're going to introduce from next week as well what we call the mortgage minute. I'm going to flick this right in front of you here. We've got a 2-year rate out there at the moment from as low as 1.3%. All we'd say on here is get in contact. We can tell you which lender that is and what the criteria is. But on top of that, it is to show again that we do have qualified mortgage consultants that can answer that question from yourself and also get you in front of the best possible rates. Again, there's more news in regards to the banks having to potentially increase their lending rates, not the Bank of England rate, their lending rates. 2 years ago, the banks borrowed shed loads of money from the Bank of England. They've got to start paying it back at the end of this month. So there is a chance that your mortgage rate with your lender could be increasing in the next 2 months. Our advice is get in, talk to one of our advisors, and we'll see whether we can offer you one of the 3 to 5 year fixed rates that are really, really competitive at the moment. But you need to get on with that now. Give us a quick call and we'll get that sorted for you as well.
Lovely.
Right, I think we're done.
That's it.
Fantastic.
All sorted.
Well done, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody who's been involved with us this evening. We've covered a lot of ground there. I'm just mindful as well, I've noticed that the picture's gone out of focus a little bit a couple of times this evening. Again, we'll look into that for you. Apologies, obviously, that your picture quality hasn't always been brilliant throughout tonight's show.
That's probably better, to be fair, because they're looking at us. So.
Well, there you go. So, fantastic. Thanks again for all your help on that, Lewis. And as I say, we'll look forward to seeing you again next week. We'll give you 5 more killer questions off the back of that as well. But hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's show, got some content out of it. Look forward to seeing you again next week.
Same again. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks very
good
much.
night.
Bye.